Psalm 7:6. Yirdof oyev nafshi, veyaseg, veyermos la'aretz chayai, uchevodi le'afar yashkein selah. So here we begin with Yirdof. Now, you heard me read that a certain way. In fact, you heard me read that with a silent schwa right here, which would be indicative of the call. It's a little bit difficult to read, so let me do that. There we go. It's a little bit better. And if you look at the BHS apparatus, then you get a little note right here that says to read this form as a call, Yirdof, or you could read it as a PL, which would be Yeradef. Yeradef. And so you get both of these options, a call or a PL. If you go to Juan Morioka, this is in section 16G, he mentions this exact verb as a lectiones mixtae. In other words, it's a mixed reading. And the idea here is that the Masoretes were preserving two different reading traditions potentially. In other words, one of these traditions had a call, one of these traditions had a PL. Now, if you look at the difference in this, the word means to pursue. It's a jussive here, an imperfect or jussive. And so we get something like, an enemy, let him pursue my soul. And so this is, of course, David saying, if I have wronged my enemy, then let my enemy pursue me. And you can see that a PL might actually fit here as an intensive. Let him pursue me intensely if I have done something wrong. And that fits a lot of this context too. So this is an interesting verb, and the way that it's formatted here, the way that it's vocalized, is not correct based on our verbal paradigms and our verbal forms, but this could be one of those lectiones mixtae from Juan Morioka's section 16G. So I'll let you take a look at that a little bit more. As we continue here, let the enemy pursue my soul and let him overtake. Here we have a hifil of the verbal root nasag. Now notice as a hifil, we get the one noon that has assimilated here as the dagesh. And then we also are looking at a jussive because notice this tsere form. So the jussive is a tsere form. And I want to point out this next one is a jussive as well. So you're going to hear me translate the call here of Yirdof and the call here of Yermos. You're going to hear me translate those as jussives as well, because that's just, in my opinion, keeping in line with the jussive form here and here, where we do have a morphological difference to indicate those are jussives. So let the enemy pursue my soul and let him overtake, and let him trample, call imperfect third masculine singular plus a vav. Let him trample to the ground my life, and my glory, kavod, to the dust, let it lie. And then reflect on that with the Selah.